Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all today? Hope you're doing well. We're taking a risk today because it's definitely going to rain. It's just hopefully not yet. In fact, it's kind of funny looking at the weather and looking at the opportunities for rain this morning. The percentage chance just goes up every hour until it hits about 11 o'clock, where it's about 100% chance of rain. So who knows if it'll rain this morning, but anyway, probably, hopefully, maybe not. We live in hope. But good morning to you, Marble. Good morning to you, Mitchin. Good morning to you, David. Good morning to you, Dave W. Good morning to you, Mithril. Good morning to you. And good morning to everyone joining us. Like I say, please remember to click on the like, share and what's it button. Like I say, got some morning ponies. Marble with the move alright, I'm emigrating. Liam, make them cows look rough. Hello from Australia. Oh, so Austria. Was that Austria? Yep, Austria. Good morning to you. I thought that was Australia then. It's a long way. But no, good morning to you. Reagan Lee, good morning to you. System, good morning to you. Phonebox Chicken, good morning to you. Liam, good morning to you as well. Like I say, good morning to everyone else sliding in, but good morning to you. Dave W, good chat on Labour Social last night. Like I said, good you could join us for that night. Like I say, it was good. It's a good chat. Simon M, good morning to you. Catho G, good morning to you. But yes, it was. It's a very good chat last night. Like I say. Yeah, we did get the chance, I think, to talk about some politics last night. But Graham's right. Now until almost September, it's silly season. It's who knows what crazy things will happen or what'll get focused on. But we've got the whole, the Bibi Stockholm stuff that's happening at the moment. It's just like, Jesus. What is going on? I mean, just what is going on at the Home Office? Just... Marvels, I regret 2016 now. Oh, I think we all regret 2016 now. I think we all regret the last couple of years, to be honest. Oh, it's been it has been a wild couple of years, to be honest. Just non-stop, one thing after another, to be honest. But yeah. And it's nice to be quiet for once. Because remember, this time last year, we were gearing up for, Tory leadership election. Or shall we say the first Tory leadership election last year. So there was, quite a significant, event to follow last year. But this year it's just quiet, and to be honest, quiet's kind of nice. To be honest, sometimes. But no, there is of course stuff going on, and like I say, the whole asylum situation at the moment is just, it's just absolutely well, broken beyond belief. And, you know, if Priti Patel got seen as a failure in the Home Office and was, you know, sent to the backbenchers never to return again, I can only hope maybe the same thing happens to Suella Braverman. And to be honest, most of these Conservative politicians that we've seen for the past couple of years that have been completely because it's completely no talent. Oh, but again, that's Boris Johnson's fault. Pretty Bird, greetings to you. Yeah, Catho G. Remember when politics used to be boring? Oh, oh, those were the days, those halcyon days. Who knew? Who knew the kind of, you know, the crazy shenanigans we'd be getting into? To go back to 2016 and say, hey, do you know this is going to happen? Oh. Mithril, yeah, August used to be the time of Nessie and UFO stories in the press. Oh, we can only hope. We can only hope that will be, you know, nice to return to, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was last night. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to bring it up. Yeah, David Walker. Yeah, Sunak is in trouble. He needs to keep Braverman, to keep the right-wing nutters on board, or we'll be out too. Yeah, exactly. Because I think, as we've discussed before, the Tory party is just so... They are just so split into so many different factions. And unless you actually get a competent leader that will come along and just say, hey, you know, enough's enough, and seriously crack the whip, I don't think you'll get that. And this is why we keep on saying that it's really important that we absolutely, completely, you know, we can completely, you know, destroy the Tories in the next general election. I mean, there was a poll out yesterday released that predicted voting intentions was like 90 seats. And you're like, that's a complete wipeout. That's a complete wipeout. That is the dream scenario, with the Tories win less than 100 seats. Please don't rain. Oh, Nick B, good morning to you. Yeah, it's like an alternative reality. Oh, indeed it is. But their summer is going to be, I think, very interesting. And as we discussed again last night on Labour Social, Lee Anderson, you know, trying to get attention from Keir Starmer and Labour just not biting. And I think it's a good tactic just not to respond sometimes. You know, pick your battles. Because otherwise you just waste your energy responding to Lee Anderson and his nonsense. So it's turned out good, to be honest. Like I say, I don't know what will happen to Lee Anderson after the after the next general election, probably try and keep his GB News show, but I doubt he'll keep it, considering he's an absolute ratings nightmare. And I don't think they'll want to keep him, to be honest, afterwards. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, to be honest, after the next GE. But it's going to be bad. It is going to be very bad for them. Right. Well, hey, what you do in the voting box, no one knows. Yeah, you are right, Mithril. This is the big, of course, difference you've got to worry about. How desperate are they going to get? Like I say, I called it. If they think that, pushing a referendum on, the European Court of Human Rights, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is, that's a referendum you do not want to have at all. And we've got to make sure that if they do that, that the left gets on board, that it gets on board with that. You want to see a boxing between Lee and Steve? Yeah, it's never going to happen. Yeah, people like that, they say those stuff all the time, and it very rarely happens. I'm not going to lie, very rarely happens. Yeah, Lee's all mouth. Yeah, exactly. I've the loud guy in the northern pub. We described it before. Yeah, a referendum on the HSR. Yep, dumb idea. Yep, an incredibly dumb idea. But that's what they might actually go for. Oh, Barnsley Triangle. Are we? We're not there yet. We're not there yet, Pretty Bird, but we're almost there. But they are desperate enough, and I think generally they might actually try for it. I think they will seriously go for it because they are that desperate for something, anything, to give them any sort of edge that they can. And if they see it as, oh, well, that can give us the edge, that can maybe stop us losing, well, badly enough, then, well, we'll see. But that's the Tories' objective at the next general election. They know they're going to lose, but what they want to do, as we always say, they want to lose. They don't want to win, but they want to win, or at least lose goodly, if that makes sense. So, and that means retaining enough MPs to be an effective opposition. And if they get below that 100 number, well, that's not an effective opposition. And at that point, Keir Starmer pretty much has a free hand. Here you go. This is why you come to the stream. Let's let's be honest. Here's the herd. I don't think there are any new foals. I know he's a little foal. I think he is as well. But no, I don't think any new ones. Well, there have been a couple of new ones this year, but not too many. There's one right in the background. There is. So there hasn't been too many foals this year compared to last year. There were a lot of falls last year. Yeah, you missed the days where people get sacked in politics. Yeah. Yeah, those are certainly gone. Yeah, ABO, that's it. It will have terrible consequences. It will be absolutely a nightmare. I mean, of course, the two big ones will be, of course, our Brexit withdrawal treaty goes, and of course the Good Friday Agreement. And that's just the start of the big questions that they will have to try and fail and answer in a referendum. And like I say, if they do seriously go for that, then the left has to go, you know what? We have to unite and generally vote against that and make sure that they don't get in. Because you do not want to fight a referendum on that. You do not want to risk that referendum at all. Full stop. It could be an absolute nightmare. Generally, it would be an absolute disaster on so many scales. Hold on a second. Better retie my shoe. Look it down here. But yeah, it would be an absolute genuine disaster if they did try to do that. There we go. And you know, I would hope, at least in that moment, if that does appear on the Tory manifesto as a legitimate promise that we're gonna, you know, give you the referendum on the European Court of Human Rights, then I would hope that the left would go, okay, we need to unite and do that, because they can do it in France. You know, they can do this in France, but we can't seem to do it here. And it's the constant annoyance of that. Oh, got a bit of a yappy dog. He's going to go after the crow. He's going to go after the bird. Morning. But yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird, you know, just why the left just loves to fracture so much. And yet, as I keep on saying to people, the big possibilities for like the next parliament to do a lot of progressive stuff is monumental. Really is. Really is. So well, we are now heading into the Barnes Triangle. There we go. So hold. Yep, we're back. Like clockwork. Like clockwork. We can see if we can try and make it through. Of course, so don't go anywhere if we disconnect, but we will return momentarily. Oh no, please don't mithril. I know you don't want that, but you might be seriously throwing your vote away. Please do not do that. Do not end up in a situation where you let your Tory MP win. Don't have a situation like Uxbridge. In the next general election, you need to either vote Labour or Lib Dem. You need to. It's not a case of anything else. It's you need to do the right thing and vote Labour or Lib Dem. Like I say, if I lived in another area and I had to vote Lib Dem, I'd vote Lib Dem. Like I say, I wouldn't risk it. Cathlo G, thank you very much. Could Labour possibly prescribe the Tories outside the European? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they would actually manage to get that to work. But it would probably work the other way around of... Because obviously, you've got to remember, if that election does come to pass, and that referendum does happen, bear in mind, you do not want that to happen at all. You do not want to give them two rolls of the dice on this. You know, one of winning the one of winning the next general election, and then of course one of them winning at that referendum. You do not want to do that. You do not want to do that at all. You just do not want to even let them consider such a insane proposal, because that is complete and utter damage. Oh, hang on. Canadian geese flying by. There you go. Because that's what it would do. The damage it would do would be unbelievable. Just alone. I mean, we've just said, you know, the whole Loam. Oh, I know there's two of them. I know they can't see him. Never mind. Yeah, Maggie Pie, the unbelievable damage might be what they want. Yeah, that's very true. Mithril. The way the French get the left to help out is by offering them some of the policies that they want. Starmer won't do that. They I hate tree huggers. Well, here's the thing. Rachel Reeves, if Labour win, will be the greenest chancellor we have ever had. The Greens cannot win power. Like, the Greens can just absolutely not win power. At all. Full stop. I owe you a Eurostar ticket. Right. So, the Greens, as we talked about before, just cannot win any type of power, especially under this voting system. The only way you're going to achieve any type of that is to generally vote Labour. Greenest Chancellor from 100 drilling licenses. Yeah, unfortunately, you need to power the green revolution in a way. Now, you might not be happy about that, but if the profits of that, which is what we want, go to building green energy infrastructure, and all that, it's possible. That's what you need. It's why I always see people going, that they don't want, they don't want nuclear. That's a good transition fuel to use. Plus, I don't think I've ever heard Rachel Reeves say that, as far as I'm aware. And when you've got Keir Starmer putting forward the proposal of creating like the UK's first publicly owned green energy company, That's what you will have that will actually go and develop green energy, stuff like that. That's what you want. So I'm more than happy to allow that, but the only reason it should be allowed in the first place is if all those profits go into sort of, funding green energy developments. I think that should be the line of any new, at least any new drilling that we do. But no, like I say, we've got a lot of green people. We've got a lot of green people. We've got a lot of green people. I mean, Ed Miliband, he's very, very pro decarbonising the British steel industry. So, yeah, that's very true. Your case for Northern Ireland, that's very true. In my case, I would say vote for whichever party would ally with Labour. That would be my best bet, I'd say, for Northern Ireland. So that's what I would say. But like I say, Northern Ireland politics, I will agree, is a bit vastly different to the national one. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I say, I think probably the Alliance. Probably your best bets, to be honest. Like I say, if you vote a Sinn Féin MP, they're not going to even, they're not even going to turn up in Parliament. So it's not like they'd be very helpful in a voting situation. And obviously, to pass progressive policy, you need to be in Parliament to actually there and vote. So take that into consideration. How you would vote potentially in Northern Ireland. That's how I would look at it on that. Well, in your local parliament, in the Northern Irish Parliament, I would agree, but in a general election scenario, you've got to consider that Sinn Féin aren't going to go turn up in Westminster, because obviously they refuse to take the oath. So obviously you need to consider your local parliament. Like I say, if you're voting for your regional parliament, like in Stormont. But if you're voting for an MP, then you need to consider, are they going to vote progressive? Are they going to, join in that potential progressive coalition that we're going to have? Certainly in the next, certainly the next Parliament. So that's what you have to consider. But we'll see. Yeah, most Brits abroad did vote for Brexit, unfortunately so. Yeah, that's like I say, it's a continuing disaster. To be honest, I didn't even realise that, but they were told, they were warned. It's not like we weren't telling them, if you vote this way, it will have these consequences. It's like, but they were warned. They were told what the consequences would be. And like I say, even with dual nostalgia, it's, yeah. Even with dual citizenship, it's interesting. And in the video, yeah. Thank you. Alliances then. Well, like I say, you've got to consider that at the next election. Obviously, you've got Stormont, which is still not functioning, and I've made my thoughts very, very clear on that before, multiple times. It's the DUP throwing the toys out of the pram when this is everything that they supposedly wanted. And even overthrew, or at least helped overthrow, Theresa May to get this situation which they apparently wanted. And now, well, they're throwing the toys out at the pram. So the DUP are at fault there. It's their own fault of their own making, as well as the Brexiteers here in the UK that the MPs pushing for this ever increasingly hard right Brexit, which they wanted, which not many people would have voted for if that's what they'd been honest about at the referendum. But when it comes to actually voting for sort of your MP, especially Northern Ireland, consider the fact of who's actually going to turn up, who's going to vote in Parliament. And Sinn Féin, obviously, they currently have MPs, but they refuse to turn up because they have to take the oath, the loyalty oath, like every MP has to do when they first come in, but they refuse to do it. So they won't do it. So I think you have to consider that, to be honest, at the next general election, if you really want to beat the Tories. Consider who will be in Parliament, who will turn up. Must be early in Texas. Although, yeah, speaking of Texas, let's talk about European Texas, aka Poland. Oh my word. Yeah, so Wagner have been attempting to I don't know what that book is, Mithril. I don't know what that book is. Don't know what that don't know what that book is. We'll see. But yeah, it's I understand, of course, the political situation in Northern Ireland is vastly different to the UK, but you've got to consider who's going to turn up. And Sinn Féin, of course, won't turn up in Parliament. I mean, we had the whole situation of, I don't know if you remember back in when we had the series of, indicative votes where we were like, okay, this is what we're actually going to choose. And we were 3 votes short of Ken Clarke's proposal winning and gaining a majority of remaining in the customs union. And there are, I believe, 5 Sinn Féin MPs in Parliament, I believe. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember how many there are off the top of my head. But you remember at the time, a lot of people were saying, hey, Sinn Féin, you need to actually turn up. You need to just swallow your pride, take the vote, and do something good. And we could have remained in a single market and customs union. Because that's how short a vote we were, by 3 in that particular vote. Yeah, exactly. They'll never take the oath. And that's the problem. That's the big problem with Sinn Féin, that they won't turn up and vote because they refuse to take the oath. And we were asking that constantly for Sinn Féin to actually turn out and vote, if you remember, back in 2016. Please turn up and vote and do something, but they didn't. So it's something you should bear in mind, to be honest, for the next Parliament, of, well, who's going to turn up and vote. And to be honest, I think Alliance are the only party that are actually going to turn up in Northern Ireland if they decide that. Nope. Nope. Yep. So they're the ones that are actually turn up in a Parliament. But I don't know, to be honest, what the voting chances are in Northern Ireland, especially when it comes to something like a proper general election where it's a vote for an MP. I'm not too sure how well they might actually do there, to be honest. Yeah, exactly, Paul. But it was a general time where we're going, hey, look, if you turn up in Parliament, we actually sort of need your votes on this. And of course, they still refused, which was a great shame, because we wouldn't be in this situation. We would not be in this situation. Would have certainly remained in the single market. Well, certainly in the customs union, which would have stopped a lot of troubles that we're having at the moment. So, but like I say, that's just Sinn Féin and how Northern Ireland politics goes. And like I say, the DUP are probably the biggest spoilers there at the moment. The fact that you could have the regional parliament in place doing a lot of stuff during a cost of living crisis, during an energy crisis, and yet they're not doing anything. As we've said before, oh yeah, of course they did. Of course that, because obviously that's their ultimate goal, a united Ireland. And to be honest, we've seen a couple of comments throughout the years, and we've even talked about it. How would you achieve a united Ireland? And it seems those types of conversations aren't really taking place about how you would achieve it. What would you do? now that you've got all of Northern Ireland part of, well, Ireland, that's going to drastically change the electoral calculus. You're going to have the DUP and the Unionist parties, well, they're not going to fracture anymore. They're probably all going to come together. They are going to be not a major power in the Irish Parliament, but they will probably be forever some sort of thorn. You've still got the issue of, well, you know, the paramilitaries over there. There are a ton of really unanswered questions you don't see too often talked about when it comes to what would a united Ireland look like and how they would actually go about achieving it. But it's something, to be honest, I think if Sinn Féin are genuinely serious about it, they should actually have open talks and open discussions about it, about how they go about achieving that. And yet they don't. They really should do, or at least someone should really consider genuinely having that conversation. But it's one you won't see happen, unfortunately, because I don't think they've really considered I don't think they've really considered the consequences of what a united Ireland would actually look like. But one of the things I didn't want to talk about, actually, is we'll come back to this, and I wanted to talk about this last night on Labour Social as well. The Crooked House. Oh my word! what a deepening mystery this place has created. So if you don't know what the Crooked House is, it's a pub. It used to be a barn before it was turned into a pub. I think it'd been a pub really for over 100 years. And due to COVID, I think the brewery, I think it was Marston's that owned it, closed down the pub, refused to really sell 21, and then they sold it to a developer, and a week later, mysterious fire. And then it gets completely knocked down by a bulldozer. However, the more you examine this story, the weirder it becomes. Because the new landlords of the property, they have bought an old landfill that they've been trying to turn into a massive housing development. And they've had problems getting permission to build the housing development because there is a lack of access that they would, shall we say, that currently available to them. However, there's not a lack of access if you own the north part of the landfill, which is of course the land that the Crooked House sits on. And because it's a listed building, you can't do anything to it. So they've bought this land, there's a mysterious fire, to which, when the fire brigade was called, the fire brigade couldn't actually get there because there was this mound of earth. Michael Ford, good morning to you. There was this massive mound of earth that they couldn't get past. So you're like, well, where did this massive mound of earth come from? Well, again, supposedly, this is all stuff, again, allegedly, and this is the big conspiracy theory that's around it. But there's a lot of strange stuff going on around it, which, to be honest, I can't blame them for coming up with these conspiracy theories around it. But it does sound somewhat plausible. Of course, the police are treating it as arson. And then they went and destroyed it, which you have to ask the question, did they have even permission from the police to destroy a property which was under suspicion of arson before they could actually check it? So that's incredibly suspicious. You then have the case of the company that rented out the JCB. Normally would provide a driver, but it was paid for not to have a driver, and this JCB turned up before the fire happened, which is a lot of people are speculating how that big mound of earth got there to block the to block the firemen. There's stuff about all the antiques that were supposedly in the building. A couple of days ago, there was a guy who found that the property had been open, and he reported it to the police and the new owners, and he took photos inside, and the old antique clock was apparently the only thing that was missing from the property. And it's like one of these one-of-a-kind antiques, and that was the only thing that he could see was missing from the property at the time. That obviously hasn't turned up in the wreckage so far. So it's like, why would you remove only this clock, but nothing else from the property? Well, partly because, as we said, it's a one-of-a-kind antique, It's very, very likely, as a lot of people are speculating, to turn up on the market somewhere. An auction house. So there's a lot of eyes out currently for a crooked antique clock, because instead of it built being straight, because of, again, the crooked house, it's all built at, everything's all at an angle. It was purpose built to be, crooked, so it looks straight. So it's a one-of-a-kind antique. And no one knows what happened to that. So there are a lot of questions around just what went on there. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens with the investigation. But ultimately, I think the council just should force them to rebuild it brick by brick. And if they go, oh well, it's too expensive, tough, you demolished it, you rebuild it, and just force them to do it. Yeah, Hayes, find the clock, find the perp. Exactly. Exactly. So, thank you for everyone for joining me on this nice Sunday walk. Like I say, as you can see behind me, it's about to absolutely tip it down. So we've just timed that right this morning. So we will see you hopefully next Saturday morning for a good morning walk. Obviously, we'll have the Wednesday morning live stream as well, of course, weather permitting, because it looks like it's going to be raining next week. So thank you very much for everyone for joining me today on the Good Morning Walk. And of course, yeah, thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic weekend. If you can't be safe, at least be sensible, as we say. Do remember to click the like and share button on your way out. And of course, links down below. You know the drill by now. Patreon page, One Off Nation link, buy me coffee, etc, etc. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. Thank you for everyone who does support the channel. And of course, as always, we'll see you all very soon.